Hi everyone and welcome back to another video, and in this one I'm going to be changing the clutch and a few other bits and pieces on my T25. So this is kind of a last resort. I've done all the linkage and I'm happy with the adjustment on the linkage. What's led me to this is it's a very high bite point, and in the small distance I've driven him it's got worse. When I last drove him I noticed the clutch was slipping when you're driving as well, so it's the clutch. So I am going to do this myself. I've never done this before, so it's new to me. I was quoted £350 labour from a garage to do it. That's just the labour, the parts are separate. So I've done a bit of research. I'm going to be referencing the Haynes manual and I'm just going to be methodical. I find it's the best way to learn, and hopefully by me doing this video it can give you an insight to what it's like for a beginner DIYer to tackle this job. I'm going to try and get as much as I can on video, albeit it's not the best access underneath, but I'll try my best. So yeah, I'm just going to jump straight into it and try and cover as much as I can, step by step. What I did do, I've got a to-do list to work through here. One, so I don't miss anything, and two, when I'm filming you sometimes forget the little things that is documented on here. So yeah, just get straight into it. First step, and a safety step, is always going to be disconnecting the battery. Going to deal with the electrics under there. So there you go. To be able to get to the clutch you're going to need access. If you're not lucky enough, like me, to have a ramp or a pit, then the back end's going to have to be jacked up. Can't emphasise, you're going to be moving a lot of stuff under there, so if you're doing this, do it safely. I wouldn't feel comfortable lying underneath that with just axle stands. That's why I've gone for the ramps. Before I even look at bolts and removing things, I'm going to go around everything with some penetrating fluid and a wire brush. Get it clean as I can, get it freed off, and I'm going to let that soak for quite a while. Probably a day, maybe even a couple of days. Just lets them soak in and it just makes things a lot easier. So again, I'll cover what I'm going to do each time, so I'm not going to cover what I'm adding penetrating fluid to here, but yeah, I'm going to go in, every bolt I know that I need to get access to, I'm going to give a quick wire brush and spray the penetrating fluid. The drive shaft bolts, there's 6 bolts on the inner on each side. Now they should be, I'm led to believe, 8mm triple square bolts. These ones aren't, so somebody's obviously put aftermarket ones on, which I just discovered just now. So these are 6mm hex bolt. Now I've ordered new ones, so I'll see what the new ones are when they come. But yeah, it just quite awkward getting in. You just have to move the gator out of the way to get in. And just one by one we'll get this off. So, it's putting up a fight. The driver's side, or right hand side, is off. They came off fine. This side is giving me major problems. I've got 3 off, I've got 3 bolts that are on the verge of, if not already starting to round. I've tried with a few different ones tapping in, and it's yeah, it's not giving yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some more penetrating fluid on, leave it to soak for a while, and I'll come back to it. So after a considerable, ridiculous amount of time spent on these 3 bolts, I've managed to get them off. Absolute nightmare. This last one is just about to come off here, so I thought I would jump back onto the camera. I'll give you a look once they're off of how bad rounded they were and why the correct bolts should be used, but they're off. So bolt here, 6 bolts, 2 paired with this. So I'll just keep that safe and get it cleaned up. Once they're all off, finally the drive shaft lifts away. So a closer look at the bolts that came off. That was previously a 6mm hex bolt, and you can see it's completely gone. So I'm amazed I even got that off. One of the other ones, not much better. The ones that will be going back on, the proper ones, so if I get a good shot, are an 8mm triple lock, triple square. So basically, you can see, if I can get it to focus, it's splined, so, and it's a lot tougher bolt. Well, they call it tougher bolt. So yeah, these are the official ones that go back on. So the next time these come off, they won't be such hard work. So next to come off is the rear of the gear linkage. Now, it's not the best to see, unfortunately, but up, if you follow up the cup here, where it attaches onto the gearbox, where my finger is, there's a 13mm bolt. That'll be a bit clearer when I take it off. So that comes off first, pops it free from there. The only other place it's held on with is the bracket here. Another 13mm bolt here, and one here. So you need to hold the nut on this side and do it with this. So 12mm bolt right in here. Right, onto these two 13mm bolts here. I'm going to do the top one first, because when you do the top one, it'll then let this manoeuvre up here. And you can take this off, and it's just a case of dropping the bottom one off. The top one's not as accessible though. This side here, closest to the front, we've got the nut, just a normal washer, and then the bolt just goes through. That's all three off. This should just lift out, and that lifts down like that. What I always do, I've just got in the habit of doing now, is just putting these back in. There. That way I know exactly where they are when I need to put them back on. And the same with this one. That's the gear linkage off. Next we have the wiring on the starter motor. So we have one push connector here, which goes to the solenoid, and the battery cable going on to here. This is a 13mm bolt. So yeah, again photos, that's a push fit, and this is one bolt. Okay, you have one nut, one washer that just fell out, and the wiring. One and two. And again, I'm going to keep these separate somewhere. Maybe just tie them there. And I'm going to put the bolt back on here so I know where the bolt and the washer is. Next I'm on to the reverse switch, which has got two wires here. What I've done is I've put a bit of masking tape on this side so I know which wire goes where. I don't know if it matters or not, to be honest, but yeah, so the white one is the outside wire in here. Quite tight, and you can see there's a bit of corrosion on there, so I will clean up these before they go back on. There we go. They will be easier to clean once gearbox is off. Coolant hoses, I've got like a little clip bracket thing up here. Not the best to see, but these should just push out, just like that. And that's them free. Next on my list is the clutch slave cylinder. Now you can see with the drive shaft going, I've got a lot better access, in particular to this bolt here. The other bolt is in there. Yeah, not great. I think I'll need to get to that one from above. This one, the plan is to stick a set of vice grips on the top and get to the bottom and get this one out. To be honest, I don't care if they snap, I will replace them. I just want them off so I can get this bracket off. And then I can move on to this one here. So from the top of the engine, the two bolts I was talking about, one here and one round the back here. Now this one, I'll get easy at the top. I'll hopefully get under here with a spanner to hold it. The other one is a bit more tricky because it's round the back. It's not the most accessible, particularly when the van is up on the ramps and I'm not the tallest, but I only really need to get a grip of this top bolt to stop the bottom bolt turning. Hopefully, for the far side bolt, that will allow me to get underneath and get the one bolt off, then I can come back to the other. we go. That's the nut falling at the bottom, but that means that the slave cylinder is now free. Onto the flexi hose bracket. Again, this is a 13mm. So, bolt, bracket, and the adjoining bracket underneath. So you can see you've now got this really loose, and it obviously frees up. I'll move the camera around, but it frees up the slave cylinder. You've got more movement there, so you can now lift the slave cylinder out of the bracket, clearing it from the gearbox. So with that bracket off and the support bracket off, this is a lot freer, and it should just, the ball joint should lift off the arm here and lift out and clear it. And then I'll need to find somewhere safe for it to sit, because I don't want to damage the pipework. So this slave cylinder I have a replacement for, but I'll cover that at a later stage. And I can now get this hung out the way and clear off the gearbox. So the slave cylinder bracket is tucked away up by the suspension, clear of all here, along with the slave cylinder still attached through the hard line. This will be replaced, but I'll keep it connected just now to save any brake fluid, clutch fluid leaking. I've got the drive shaft tucked up out of the way, clearing this. So yeah, pretty much the slave cylinder side is clear. All up here is clear now, ready to drop from this side. I now have to go up the top and do some work to get access to the top, and I've got a few connections up there I need to undo. Looking from the front of the engine bay, that being the back of the van, I need to undo 2 bolts. One here, goes all the way through, so you need to hold this to stop it turning, and the other right under the carb here, and that goes right through to where the starter motor's held on. Wow, that was not tight at all. Strangely untight. Don't know what the torque is for that, but that hardly took anything. There's no way that was torqued down to what it should be. Okay, top of the engine side now done. I can go back down below. Okay, next is the air strap that is connected from the chassis to the gearbox, and I am going to undo it from the chassis side. There we go. I'll pop that back in there. So I'm now at the stage where I need to support the engine and the gearbox before I take anything else off, and I'm getting close to hopefully getting this out. Okay, it's another day for me now, and you'll see behind me I have two supports, one supporting the engine and one supporting the gearbox. The one on the gearbox I've got an adapter plate that I bought online, £35 I think I paid. That goes in the trolley jack. It's got a tilting angle so it should make it easier to get on and off, particularly get on. So yeah, I've got it taking up some of the slack. I've got another few bolts to take off. Next is the gearbox mount bracket, which has got 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will get a better look at this mount when it's off and away from the van. It looked okay when I looked in a visual exam, so I haven't ordered one. They're about £45 to £50. Okay, that is that off. I'll move the camera. Basically I have the 2 lower bolts now on the gearbox, and that's everything, I'm hoping, disconnected. So from where I am here, I've got 1 bolt here and round, same on the other side. Up there. There we go, the last bolts are out. So, need to lower it slightly at an angle, probably the engine jack too, and then just move it slowly that way, bearing in mind it is very heavy. That was harder getting out than what I anticipated, and it was only because the plate I've got on the jack didn't drop low enough to give clearance from the height I had in the ramps. Luckily I had adjustable ramps so I could move it up about 5 centimetres. That then gave me enough clearance to get out with a combination of tilting the jack and a dolly here. So definitely a lot easier with another set of hands, and safer to be honest. It is manageable, it's heavy, you've seen me get out with one, but another set of hands would be better. Okay, that's out. I can now have a look at the clutch, all the surrounding areas, and make a plan of attack where I go from here. I'm going to end this video here, and in the next one I'll be looking at what the parts look like and what I want to refurb while I'm in this area. So stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!